2019 was an extraordinarily good year for Local 1245 and its members. We've made this video to highlight some of our successes and to show you how we are using the power of the union, which is largely our members, to preserve, protect, and improve what we've built over the years. I pay attention to the story of David and Goliath because it's a great story of how the little guy beat the big guy. And we're the little guy. The world we're dealing with is big guys. And one of the secrets of David's success was that before he went into battle with the giant, he went to a stream and took time to find 5 smooth stones that he could use with his sling to take the giant down. And that's what we've done. And in every battle we've gone into, we thought, what are our 5 smooth stones? What are the advantages and tactics that we have that will let us advance the interests of our members? We did it all year long. I'm happy to show this to you.
Hi, how you doing? Hi, I'm Carisha, been with the company for 7 years. I'm a new organizing steward. So for me...
Organizing stewards, first job is to show up at work and to talk to their coworkers about what it means to be a union and what the union difference makes in their lives. And then they learn how to organize, motivate their coworkers to take action to make a difference. Member engagement this past year has made a huge difference across the board, whether it's for the tree trimmers, for our members at PG&E, through the historic wildfire legislation.
In 2019, we had about over 100 organizing stewards coming all the way from Fresno, San Jose, every floor of the Capitol, talking to the assembly members, talking to the senators, talking to them about why they should support the tree trimmer bill that helped our members, our tree trimmers, get better compensation and better livelihood for them and their families.
Picture 40 and 50 plus organizing stewards swarming the Capitol, going to every legislative doors and offices, going to every building, knocking on their doors to help get this wildfire bill passed.
We're in it for the long haul. We're in it to fight tooth and nail for our members. They know that our union is strong, so even though there is some fear, once they start to get engaged, then they realize, wow, this is a beast.
We're now 162 strong, starting out with 28 in 2014. Across sectors, it's a multiracial, intergenerational group of workers who are now trained organizers, and they are fired up and they're ready to go for 2020.
As PG&E has stepped up efforts to harden the grid, the shortage of qualified linemen that we have talked about for years has become a real obstacle for the company. 1245 has helped out by bringing in linemen from elsewhere in the country for temporary help on the grid hardening.
With all the work that has developed because of the fires, we have contract crews throughout the PG&E service territory. These linemen here behind us are all travelers coming from all parts of the United States.
And PG&E, when they have all this work that's taking place, they will contact 1245. And 1245 will put out calls on their website and say, hey, we need 25 linemen or we need 150 linemen. And that's basically how I ended up out here. Everybody kind of looks out for everybody, and if you need help, you call your buddy in a different state and say, hey, we need some good hands out here. Everybody's experience, everybody's work that they've gathered around the U.S. working for different companies. You combined all your experience, all your knowledge, and that puts a good crew together.
We work closely with these crews to make sure they understand our safety rules, our standards. So ultimately, these guys are going home safe to their families.
1245 is a great hall to work out of. They look out for you, they make sure that you're getting everything that you're supposed to get, your benefits. They're absolutely a stand-up hall.
It's essential that this work gets done, and it's been a great help for these linemen to decide to come out here and work here in California.
One of our big successes in 2018 was creating a broad coalition of Nevadans to defeat Question 3, which would have deregulated Nevada's energy market and led to price increases and the loss of good jobs in the state.
Question 3 was a tremendous outcome for the state of Nevada, for the company, for our labor partners, and for our customers, most importantly. We had locals from across the country that were here knocking on doors and handing out literature to people and helping them understand the risks. And ultimately, we got to the right outcome because we had those labor partners involved.
More than 15 IBEW locals that we have helped over the years sent staff and members to help us walk precincts and defeat Question 3. The coalition we built allowed 1245 to protect members' interests in every area of the state and led to several other important legislative victories in 2019.
We worked with our partners to show up at local government meetings, to show up at customer meetings, to send in comments to regulatory proceedings. We were able to advance and pass legislation that brought more renewable energy to our state and that brought community solar to low-income parts of our communities. One of the most important pieces of legislation that was passed is a bill that will make the electric grid here in Nevada more resilient. Another critical piece of that legislation that we were able to collaborate on was to ensure that individuals that are going to work on the electric grid have to be qualified electrical workers. We know they're going to work safely so that we have a grid that will provide our customers the needed energy for generations to come. When you've got great partners like IBEW 1245s and the skilled labor that they bring, building substations like this, building the necessary equipment to serve that growth here in the state isn't a problem. In fact, in 2019, we tied our best record ever for preventable vehicle accidents, and we had the lowest number of OSHA recordable incidents that we've ever had. Having a quality workforce like we have from IBEW 1245 makes all those pieces come together.
This earth was made a common treasury for everyone to share all things in common.
At IBEW Local 1245, we represent over 3,000 members working at PG&E in the natural gas delivery space. California has greenhouse emission goals targeted for the year 2035 that aim to drastically reduce the use of methane in this state. Now, that could have a big impact on the workforce that we represent. While the state's process to achieve these goals is not well defined, we are well aware of the issues at hand. Whereas this has been primarily an environmental question, it's important that the voices of the members that work every day in the gas space are heard loud and clear, and we are committed to be involved in any forum to represent the voice of labor. The ultimate goal is to provide stability for our gas workforce that we represent today and provide a future for the next generation of gas workers to exist.
One outcome of recent wildfires has been a large increase in the number of tree trimmers working on the PG&E grid. Local 1245 now represents more than 4,000 tree trimmers in California. We lobbied hard to improve these members' pay and conditions as part of Senate Bill 247, Wildfire Prevention.
Pues lo más importante es la comunicación en el grupo para no lastimarse nadie y venir al trabajo todos los días bien y regresar a casa bien. Claro que sí, con la unión pues sí hay diferencia. Nosotros pues estamos contentos con el aumento que nos dieron. Los peligros son los mismos, nomás tenemos que tener más cuidado en el trabajo. Lo único que cambia es que tenemos buenos beneficios. No me tengo que preocupar tanto por pagar tanto de mi bolsa porque cubre bastante lo de la aseguranza que tenemos.
We succeeded in winning these workers the prevailing pay for First Step Electrical Utility Lineman Apprentice, which represents pay increases of between 28% and 40% for them. In addition, these members won a $7.84 per hour pension contribution. Overall, these lobbying and negotiation efforts have resulted in a genuinely life-changing outcome for these members.
Gracias a Dios, con el aumento que dieron, vivimos un poco mejor.
2019, we had 12 public sector contracts that we negotiated, 12 different committees. The negotiations is led by a business representative, and the committee is made up of bargaining unit members. And there were quite a bit of improvements in wages and benefits. We had over 60 classifications get equity adjustments that range from 1.5% to 17% wage increases on top of the general wage increases. Some of the highlights were the city of Alameda received general wage increases and equity adjustments. Overall, the benefits that we got, they were tough and hard fought because the agencies in most cases started out with general proposals that were quite a bit less than where we ended up. But at the end of the day, our membership was very pleased.
Over the past decade, the high cost of living in the Bay Area has created a difficulty for PG&E to attract and retain linemen. This has impacted safety and response times and so affects both the public and IBEW members directly.
In 2019, we sat down with PG&E and negotiated a 22% bonus to retain and attract linemen into our Bay Area yards.
It's hard to retain people here. And it's not just a normal attrition where the guys are retiring, you get the young guys leaving. They top out, leave, top out, leave. A lot of these houses go for $1.2 million, and people are paying cash. So we train them for 5 or 6 years, and most of them are trying to bid out to areas where the cost of living is less. And then we started talking as people left, and we were down to about 6 linemen in a city of 1 million. You know, we got 1 million customers to take care of, and there's 6 of us. It was getting pretty tough. So the stopgap for now was the 22% in the greater Bay Area as a bump over the rest of the company, which has helped.
We believe this is the beginning of a long-term solution to attract and retain highly qualified linemen into the Bay Area.
One of the biggest challenges that Local 1245 and its members faced in 2019 was in January when PG&E filed for bankruptcy. The expected narrative with a unionized company is that the company goes into bankruptcy, a pension gets destroyed, workers come out much worse. That was not the case here. We used every tool that we had, every weapon that we had to make sure that our members were protected. Aside from hiring bankruptcy lawyers, and we have lawyers from a top-rated bankruptcy firm in New Orleans, we had Doug Gerard from our staff on the Unsecured Creditors Committee. Hunter Stern worked full-time, and he's been building relationships in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. for years. Bob Dean has been building the relationships, especially with the Republican Party. We built relationships with the hedge funds, both those that took over control of PG&E in April and the bondholders that were trying to take over. We have, first and foremost, the relationship with Governor Newsom, who has assured that the company is not going to come out of bankruptcy without treating the workforce well, which is the backstory to the 4-year agreement that we have for 15.86% compounded over 4 years. So what could well have been a real disaster, bankruptcy, has turned into a great opportunity to build power and to advance the interests of our members. Now, not naive about this to think that, well, we went into battle and we prevailed, the giant's dead, the 5 smooth stones work. We have no way of knowing everything that's going to come at us in 2020. But it almost doesn't matter because we have our formula, our tools, our knowledge. Whatever comes at us, I'm confident that we can fight, we can win, and you'll come out better.